Okay, welcome back. And our guests, we got Mr. Biodun Sowunmi in studio here, Executive Director, African Center for Labor Research and Public Empowerment. He's also a social commentator. And in our Abuja studio, Dr. Ben Amedu, convener and National President of Concerned Catholics in Nigeria. And we're looking at how the matter of a person's faith that had never been an issue in this country when it comes to the presidential election, for the first time, it has become an issue. We've had, as has been pointed out, same faith, candidates, across the board, whether it is for governorship, whether even for the presidential. And now this has become an issue. And so we're looking at the challenge. So Dr. Ben Amedu, I know that I left with you, but let me quickly come back to you. Look, civic education, that used to be quite heavy, important back in the day. I don't know if we used to learn about, is it not Agre with the black and the white keys of the piano, harmonizing and making good music. Those indeed were things that were being drummed into us then, but the way we read it is that though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. The brotherhood is being challenged now by rhetoric that is coming out. So what do we do apart from having the common sense? I really grabbed hold onto the first thing you said, which is that whatever your religion, it's likely to be a function of where you happen to find yourself. You didn't go there. You became conscious there in your household. What can we do? Well, it looks as if the line is still held up. But you heard the question.
Yes.
What are suggestions that you have for this? People might not have seen it as a big problem, but it's a rolling stone that must not be allowed to gather moss.
Yes, we have to make sure that we disemphasize the role of religion in politics. It has to be removed from our statute.
But it never was a part of politics in a major way, was it?
It wasn't, but we have now seen how dangerous, politicians can exploit it and how dangerous it can be for the Nigerian state. If you look, when people refer to the fact that in the past, we used to have involvement of the church in the affairs of men, but that was when? In the 18th century? Are we going back to 18th century? But they conveniently forget that in the same 18th century, it's actually the Catholic Church in the era of Catholicism, that actually, led the movement for the protection of rights of workers and creating justice and fairness through workplace bargaining and all that. The Catholic Church actually led that, but didn't stream into mainstream politics, but only restrained itself within the confines of the rights of workers, which became the trade union till today. And that's where we've left it, but not actually in terms of actually managing the state. When you look at countries who are largely Christian or Muslims, it does not mean that because we are a Christian or a Muslim, the state will be better governed. No. Nigerians need to understand that it's the leadership that matters. We need to evolve the leadership. We need to, in fact, help the citizens to understand through civic education that the concept of citizenship, what are your obligations, your rights? Nigerians don't want to vote, but they like to criticize their leaders. They don't want to participate in the process, collect their PVC, take the pain to go to the polling booth and cast their ballot. So there are roles, there are things that we also have duties as citizens, and that can be taught through civic education. I benefited from it, but I don't think people behind me, the younger ones, actually benefited from that. And the other part of it is also history, because if you don't emphasize the teaching of histories in schools, how will people be able to understand, the youth be able to understand that there are certain trajectory. If you follow it, it's likely going to lead into wars or disunity rather than a united country. So we need to disemphasize the role of religion, and Nigerians need to frown at priests, including Islamic or Christian or traditionalists, who are actually delving into the areas of religion, abusing their pulpits, to preach hatred and division and disunity in our country. Indeed. In every church, every mosque, you have Christians, Muslims, and attending them.
Indeed.
And people of different parties.
And those people are Nigerians first. First and foremost, before you go to your house of worship. In fact, Dr. Ben Amedu, muddying the waters a bit more, you find political analysts, especially from, upon the question of, the choice of a running mate that has caused this whole big conversation. Some of them were saying that, look, you can't, ignore the numbers as helping to inform why a particular person was, chosen. Now, that is just strategic. But I'm a bit concerned. Does it mean that because a candidate is a Christian, then every last Christian in Nigeria will be casting their vote for him or won't vote at all? Or if he were a Muslim, would be casting their vote for him simply based on religion, or would hold their peace and not vote at all? That stands logic on its head. You've just said that your family and many, many families in the South, many, especially in the Southwest, are made up of both faiths. So it's a challenge that we have here. Dr. Amedu?
I'm missing.
I think it is frozen.
It's frozen.
I think that's
whether
what's
you are
going
a Christian or Muslim before you be voted for is a misunderstanding of the whole electoral process of Nigerians. I don't agree that most people will vote because of the religion you belong to. Even in the South, or even in the up north, they call north, there are many Muslims there who have voted for Christians overwhelmingly. And down south, many Christians have voted for Muslims overwhelmingly. I think in 2015, for example, when Buhari won the elections, it was not only Muslims who voted for him. When Obasanjo won in 1999, it was not only Christians who voted for him. Even in the core north, where there are seemingly majority of Muslims than Christians, the Christians there are still voting for the Muslim candidates. Like I said earlier, people are taking undue advantage of the privileges they have about interacting and then winning the heart of Nigerians to vote for them into elections. We should.
And, what is happening here is that those who are advancing that narrative are not crediting Nigerians with very much intelligence, unfortunately, to think that just because a person is a Christian, I'm going to vote for him because I'm a Christian, or the other way around. Just because a person is a Muslim, I'm going to vote for him. No, I don't believe the Nigeria is that.
It has never happened like that.
It doesn't. It beggars.
Look, when Awolowo presented Philip Imiadi under UPN, Christian, they still won in Muslim, won seats in Borno, in then Adamawa, Gongola State. They won seats in Gongola State. They won seats in Gongola State, in Muslim-dominated area of Gongola State, even though the president and the vice president at that time candidates were Christians. So the fact of the matter is, at the bottom line is, the poor man living in Kano, in Borno, or Lagos, or Port Harcourt, remains poor. The same fate awaits a worker working in Lagos, working in Kaduna, working in Enugu. That is why you have the concept of collective bargaining, so that our fates are tied together, our interests are tied together. We move up together or we sink together. So the idea that when pastors or clerics, Muslim clerics, choose to use the pulpit to encourage people to vote along religious line, that will translate into votes for one candidate or the other, I don't think that would happen. What would happen eventually is, by the time the political parties unfold their agenda, the manifesto, that is what Nigerians will be discussing.
Indeed.
And know which one is better than the other, who is better pleased, who has a proven track record to deliver on these promises.
Finally now, Dr. Ben Amedu, thank you very much for joining us. I wanted to ask you, when it froze and Biodun took that particular question, you know, it's not going to happen that a Muslim will willy-nilly vote for a Muslim and ditto a Christian will willy-nilly vote for a Christian. It hasn't been like that. And I was saying that whoever has that notion, the politicians, mischievous politicians, as we have cited, you know, they're not crediting Nigerians with too much intelligence, because I don't believe that's the way it's going to go. Dr. Amedu?
Yes. Well, I think the best thing in this concept is to understand that people will vote for the person of their conscience. Like you rightly said, even the candidates have not come out with their manifestos yet. And people are jumping the guns and already coming to conclusion. It becomes funny again that a misunderstanding of political structure. When somebody has not told you what he has to offer, who is guaranteed that it is only your own blood brother who will be better to you than your friend or a distant relation? We don't know what they have in their kitty to offer us for 2023. And we are beginning to conclude at this moment. It means we don't even know what we are heading for until we come to our senses and tell ourselves to wait until the time comes. What if we fight ourselves lame now, and then at the end, the person we are agitating for disappoints us in his manifesto or presentation of what he has to offer? We are outgrowing the period of saying I'll build bridges, I'll construct roads, I'll build schools and other things. The narratives have changed now. This is 2023. We are aiming at 2023. We are now looking for people with capacity and with the IQ of presentation of policies that will push Nigeria forward. Where we are now as Nigeria.
I imagine you're going to say,
so who will give us that concept of what we need to achieve to become a leader in Africa is what we should be waiting for. So when people are fighting each other now, the players that we are fighting for are not even fighting themselves. So we should wait patiently for when the time comes.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much, Dr. Ben Amedu, National Convener and President, Concerned Catholics in Nigeria. Thank you for your wise counsel. We appreciate your time. Okay. So, in fact, we can now put on the phones, and in case a few people at home wanted to join in the conversation. But the point has been made that when President Buhari, when he was elected, if somebody could go and X-ray and analyze his votes, just going from the fact that I know in the Southwest, and I'm sure you will too, many, many, many Christians who were, you know, fanatical in their insistence that Buhari must be elected. Buhari must win this election. And they worked for it. Social media was awash. You know, it was, I mean, talk about fans at the time. He had those fans. Now, as I said, I noticed that a lot of them were not Muslim. Well, so what has changed now, if anything has changed, because we don't even know, it hasn't been proven yet. It's just that social media is what it is. Do you think very much has changed in spite of the rogbodinho that is going on?
To be honest with you, I actually don't even think much has changed beyond the nuisance value of people being able to use the social media to harass.
Social media is a factor.
I was at the last Ojude festival in Ijebu. For some reasons, given who I am, I decided to mix up with some youths. They're about 50, and I decided to buy some alcohol for them. I paid for 2 cartons of beer, and of course, I became the hero. And in the course of the discussion, I was only trying to find out their level of consciousness in relation to the debate going on social media. You'll be shocked. Many of them told me that they don't even know what we are talking about.
Exactly. Let me bring in Prince, who has called in from Jos. Good morning, Prince. Prince in Jos. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well,
they said, oh, no, we are
Uncle
not
Yomi, good
doing
morning.
this. We are only voting along party lines.
well,
And
good morning,
they made
Yomi,
it
good
very
morning.
clear to me, and that this is the person their candidate is upon now and all that. And that's what they were telling me. And I said, okay, but what if that's not what people think elsewhere? What about in Lagos or major cities like Abuja, Port Harcourt? They said, well, we don't live in Lagos.
Exactly.
That's what it's told me. And the fact of the matter is, more than 80% of our people are living outside the major cities. Their views are not represented in social media because they have no such influence in social media and presence. So therefore, we are likely going to assume that the voices of the minority which we are processing currently represent the views, of the vast majority of
You mentioned Lagos. Sanwo-Olu is governor in Lagos. I don't think very many people even remembered that he was a Christian. He is a Christian. And you can see that he is involved, be it Christian, be it Islamic, he is involved as the governor of all. It stands to reason that, that is indeed the heritage that, he was handed, that was handed out over to him, and that was his sensibility. I don't see that it will be any different. We certainly know that it's not going to be any different. It's just that there's a pushback.
Honestly speaking, Lagos is so complex and diverse a state that a Sanwo-Olu managing Lagos the way he has done it so far, for me, I think he deserves a second term, which
indeed.
is widely party.
But when Innocent is starting by. I beg your pardon. Okay. I don't want to lose Innocent. Okay. Good morning, Innocent.
And within the context of the issue of unity and diversity and the role of religion, the only time, even in Lagos, when we had a major issue in relation to religion was when a Christian governor was in office, when a Christian priest was being removed and thrown out of, government supported building in Alausa, and it caused a major outrage and all that.
Indeed.
And eventually, that cost that governor a second-term ticket,
among other
in
things.
Lagos. Yes. So that was the only time. It was even a Christian governor that did it to a Christian. It was not even a Muslim or doing it to a Christian governor. So religion is not really an issue, basically, when it comes to political decisions.
So the focus is going to be on competence.
Competence programs, manifestos.
Yes.
Yes.
And
proven experience of delivery. Indeed. Who has done it before? Who do you think you can trust to do it, again? You have to look at people's track record. For instance, if I have a track record of I've served in local government, all I ended up doing there was to loot. I've served in state government, all I ended up there.
Your religion doesn't matter.
Religion does not matter. And at the end of the day, the people will have to consider that and say, hang on a minute, what did you achieve when you were in office?
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
Ade in the UK. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Yore, and good morning to my brother in the studio.
Good morning.
Let me quickly tell you this short story. I left Lagos in January 78. I moved to Kano to join my brother there. And where my brother was living in Kano is called the city. City North Urban Center. In Hausa language, it's called Chicken Birini, Onodiso. So on Sunday, when we are going to church, our landlord is Chief Alikali, the customary Sharia court, the chief leader of the Sharia court. That's how I can translate it. So if people now went to him that, why did you take Christian to be your tenant? This place is purely, he said, is Christian not a religion? They should not bother about that. They accept them and they should be living there. After some time, all of them became our friends. Because I was a draftsmanship there. So anytime I want to do business, I'll go to one of them. They'll give me a job. We became friends. Because of the action of that, our landlord, may God bless you, so it's late now. That time, before I left Nigeria in 1988, see, it depends on the leadership. That's what is happening.
Indeed. We're going to have to leave it there, Ade, but thank you very much. Excellent point that you make, and thank you very much. We've run out of time, and this conversation, it needs to be held many more times because of the damage, arguably, that social media has, sort of fueled. Back in the day, there wasn't social media.
Oh,
write your thing to the lady, write your letter to the editor, if you will. God knows it'll take a week or so, and so there was no momentum. But here you have a bunch of, I would dare say, even professional troublemakers who are working round the clock, crafting messages, crafting crafty messages to
including doctoring, animations, visuals, and all that.
Thank you very much. So we just need to be aware and not be taken in. I imagine this is going to take a bit more conversation, and we're not tired about it here. But thank you very much, Biodun.
My pleasure.
Biodun Sowunmi, social commentator and executive director, Africa Center for Labor Research and Public Empowerment. And also thanks go to Dr. Ben Amedu, national convener, Concerned Catholics in Nigeria, who contributed on this subject as well. Well, that's our program today. Wish we had more time to hear from you at home, but it is what it is. Maybe tomorrow will be better. I am Yori Folani. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. Bye-bye for now.